All right, let's talk about SAP Convergent Invoicing. There's this one tiny piece of configuration that, honestly, can make or break your entire billing process. It's called the subprocess. It looks small, it sounds simple, but if you get it wrong, well, nothing's going to work. So let's break down exactly what this thing is and why it's so incredibly important.
So first, let's zoom out and look at the big picture, right? Convergent invoicing is the engine room for the whole consume-to-cash process. Its main job is to grab all this data from everywhere. I'm talking usage from charging systems, one-off fees from your CRM, recurring charges, and its one job is to turn all that chaos into a single, clean, consolidated invoice for the customer.
And that leads to the million-dollar question. You've got all these different charges flying into the system. How in the world does it know which ones to bill right now, which ones to save for later, or which ones are even allowed to be on the same document? How does it make any sense of it all?
Well, the answer is something called a subprocess. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like the system's own personal sorting hat. Every single charge that comes in gets put under this hat, and the subprocess sorts it, telling it exactly where to go and what its destiny is in the billing process.
Now, okay, here's the official textbook definition. A subprocess is a self-contained processing operation that gives business significance to a billable item. What does that actually mean? It's the rule. It's the little tag that tells the system, hey, this thing right here, this is a recurring monthly fee, so treat it like one. Or this other thing is a one-time usage charge, handle it this way. It's the critical link between a technical line item and what it means to the business. So what does it actually control? Three really important things. First, it selects which items are even eligible to be billed right now. Second, it groups them together into billing units. And third, it specifies what kind of bill to create. So bottom line, it finds the right charges, bundles them up, and then slaps a label on the box. Understanding the idea is one thing, but actually making it work in SAP is another. And here's where people can get tripped up. There is a mandatory, absolutely critical order of operations. You can't just configure these things whenever you want. You have to follow a very strict sequence. And this brings us to what I call the unbreakable link. It's a two-step process, and there's no way around it. Step one, you must define the subprocess itself. Create the rule. Only after that rule exists can you do step two. Assign that rule to a billable item class, which is just the technical home for your charges. You cannot do this the other way around. It's just not possible. So let's peek into the system. Here in the define subprocesses of billing activity is where you actually create the subprocess. You can see one here, SC01 for recurring charges. This is step one. This is where the rule is actually born. And only once that's done can you go to this next screen, a totally separate step, and assign it. Here we see our new subprocess, S01, being linked to the billable item class ZAD1. The system itself forces you to follow this exact sequence. So, what's the big takeaway from looking at the configuration? It proves that the billable item class, your data, and the subprocess, your rule, are fundamentally tied together. This connection isn't a suggestion, it's not a best practice, it's hardwired directly into the system's logic. Okay, so we've defined the rules, we've linked them up. Now for the fun part. Let's see what actually happens when we press the button to run a billing process. This is where you see the real power of the subprocess come to life. This diagram shows it perfectly. One single billing run can kick off multiple different subprocesses. You might have subprocess 1 handling one kind of charge, while subprocess 2 handles a totally different kind. Each one follows its own set of rules, and crucially, each one creates its own separate billing documents. And this leads us to probably the single most important rule in all of convergent invoicing. This is a direct quote from the source material, so listen up. Billable items belonging to separate subprocesses can't be processed together in a common billing document. That's it. That's the golden rule. Think of it as a hard wall of separation between them. Let's make that super simple. Imagine your customer's usage charges are handled by subprocess 1. And their monthly recurring fees are handled by subprocess 2. The result? You will always get two separate billing documents, billing document A for the usage and billing document B for the fees. They can't be combined into one because their guiding rules, their subprocesses, are different. Period. Okay, so let's circle all the way back to that question we started with. We've looked at what a subprocess is, how you configure it, and how it acts during a billing run. So now we can finally give a clear, definitive answer.
So let's just put it out there, plain and simple. After everything we've just seen, can you actually go into the system, configure a billable item class, and just skip assigning a subprocess? And the answer is a resounding no. Not if you actually want to bill with it. I mean, sure, you can technically create the class in the system, but it's completely useless for a billing run. The process will just fall over because it has no idea, no instructions on what to do with those charges. So here's why this matters. The bottom line. A subprocess is absolutely 100% mandatory for a billing process to run. It is the essential bridge that connects your business rules to the technical data in the system. And if you don't build that bridge, convergent invoicing is basically paralyzed. It can't do its job. It can't select, it can't group, and it can't bill your charges. So there you have it, the subprocess. It's the director, it's the traffic cop, it's the sorting hat for the entire billing engine. Now that you understand the why behind this critical piece of the puzzle, the only question left is, what kinds of powerful billing rules are you going to go build?